Yee! How's it going, guys? Matt, again, for another episode of Having the Yak. Today we are talking about not exactly the most happiest of topics, but it's just something I've been thinking about for a while. It is how the world is ugly and what the fuck is going on. Anyway, let's get to it. Alright. How's that tune, eh? I got that from Pod 5. Great place. Now, when it comes to this bloody world of ours and how I think some things just don't seem right. Some things just don't. Excuse me. Some things just don't add up. You know, it's one of those things where you gotta kind of have to think about basically why it is the way it is. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, when it comes to certain sayings from movies or shows, any of that type of thing, it's for some reason I've got the fucking yawns. But for some reason it comes down to quotes from movies and telly, like I said, that really stick to you. Like really, really stick to you. Now there's one movie that actually does stick to me very, very closely, like very closely to me. That movie is called The Green Mile. Now, The Green Mile, that is one of my all-time favourite movies. And probably always will be. Now, with The Green Mile, there was one particular scene in that movie that I have always remembered and thinking that's exactly how I feel about this bloody world. There is so much that we can try to improve in this world, but I suppose it takes more than one ant than a million ants to do something. But it's funny how sometimes it only takes one ant to speak out for things to start changing, but I highly doubt it. Now, that one quote that I actually know from The Green Mile. Now, I'm actually going to read it out to you because I'm not sure if you're allowed to play any any storyline of it or any of the movie of it to you on this podcast because I'm worried about copyright laws and that type of shit. So I'm just going to say my own words or in the quotes about what old John Coffey actually said. Alright. I'm rightly tired of the pain I hear and feel, boss. I'm tired of being on the road and lonely as a robin in the rain. Not having nobody to go on with or tell me where he's coming from or going to or why. I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I feel like it feels like pieces of glass in my head. I'm tired of all the times I've wanted to help and couldn't. I'm tired of being in the dark. Mostly it's the pain. There's too much of it. If I could end it, I would, but I can't. Now that was one hell of a movie. And one hell of a quote. But that's not the only thing I'm talking about today. Well, tonight, I should say. The other thing I'm talking about tonight is just how ugly it is for this world that we're in. Like, one thing that I really am getting sick and tired of is just no one is happy anymore. Like, you get some people who are happy, yeah, that is true. But are they really, really happy? Like, are they actually happy? In their lives or in whatever they're doing, are they actually happy? Oh, well. Sometimes you just got to ask those questions, eh? Sometimes you just got to ask the question that not everyone wants to know the answer to. See, I've always noticed these things. I've always had this feeling that I could feel how people are and that type of shit. But when it comes to actually doing anything about it, it's pretty hard. Because all you see is just people being miserable, like just people being upset, looking like worried on their faces, looking like they're extremely stressed. But then again, in today's world, that is pretty fucking accurate, because when it comes to everything, right, it's not just here in Australia, it's all over the world. The so-called conflict going on in Israel and Palestine, you got another one in Russia and Ukraine, and they're only the two that we know about. What about when it comes to now? I know it's the same. It's not the same in different countries, but it's not the same. But it's the same in some ways too. When it comes to in Australia, it seems like the cost of living has just gone skyrocketing ever since 2020. It's been slowly getting there to getting better, but it's just slowly getting up there to the point where you got to think and save your internet, save your water, save your gas, save this, save that, save this, just so you guys can get ahead. My mate actually came by and he was explaining how so much shit has changed, even on the roads, and basically just saying, like, just for example, with the trucking industry, it's completely changed. Like, instead of people helping each other, they're just expecting you to get there as quick as possible, and not just forgetting or regarding the safety. So this is what I mean. This is the shit I'm talking about. Like, why is this world becoming a way that everything has to be rushed? Everything has to be fucking basically not in the right places, or right in the right feelings, or in that type of shit. But why has it got so fucking bad? Why has it got to the point where in some cases it's, you don't know who's your friend, you don't know who's your enemy, you don't know who is someone who's trying to help you, you don't know if anyone's trying to hurt you. It is something that, when it comes to different scenarios of your life, like Chinese, if you're going out for Chinese, the old chivalry shit is no longer really around. Like, everyone is just, they're not doing their own, they're not, it's a strange way of putting it. You know what I mean? It's a very, it's just one of those things, right? That you, like back in the old days, like my grandparents' era. Let's just talk about that for 2 seconds, right? When they got together, they loved each other until my grandfather died. They were nearly together, I think it was 40 to 50, I think it was 45, 50 years or something like that. These days, you'd be lucky to get a fucking couple of bloody years. For some people, it's better, but in most scenarios, it's fucking about 2 years, 3 years sometimes. Jeez, I even bloody heard something of a couple getting married, and then when was it? It was about a month or 2 months later, they were fucking getting divorced. It's like, what the hell? But that's what I mean. But that's the type of shit I'm talking about. The old ways of doing things is gone. So the kindness, the honor, the loyalty, that type of shit is nearly all gone. And this is what I'm bloody saying. The world has got ugly, cold, full of greed, and basically having the attitude of saying, what can I get out of you? Basically. And it's just one of those things where, like even these wars or conflicts going on in Palestine and Lebanon, I think it is. Yeah, Lebanon. And then you've got the Ukrainians and the Russians fighting each other. I remember watching this documentary. It's called Australians at War, and old Nana, she was talking about World War One, and this is what I mean by ugly. She was saying that it went for a long. I'm pretty sure what she said was, it went for a long time, didn't it? But tell me, what did it prove in the end? Now, I understand that some wars are meant to be fought. I understand that some wars are meant to be one of those type of things where you help the people to have freedom and that type of stuff. So sorry, guys. I'm just getting yawns up here. But let me just tell you this, but why can't we ever have a time where we don't have to fight? And that's another saying, or another point by a band of brothers. At the end, who was it? I think it was Dick Winters or Richard Winters. Major. And he was showing off this German pistol. And he was saying that this is what the colonel gave him when they officially surrendered. It's on the documentary. It's on the movie or video series or mini series. Go and have a look at it. It's a good show. And look at the Pacific too. That's a good one. Apparently they're making another one about the Flyers. Which that's always a good thing too, that they're making another one. They'll probably make up one for the Navy next, which will be really good. But he was saying that after expecting or having a look at this pistol that this colonel gave him, he discovered something. Like, he discovered something really important. That pistol has never been fired. Not once. And then that's when he said the best quote ever. He said, that's how everything should be settled. That's how everything should be done. Not by war, but by sitting down. I'm not quoting it word for word, but he said basically, don't have war. Just sit down and talk it out. Because here's the thing, guys. Whoever is listening to this right now, and who has actually served, you would probably most likely would agree with that. Talk things out. Don't just go to war just for the sake of going to war because he said this or she said that or he said this or he done that. Talk it out. It's one of those things where if you can literally talk something out instead of arguing with each other and making ugly comments to each other, why not do it? You know what I mean? And, well, that's only one factor of what's going on at the moment. Right? But that is literally one thing that's been going on at the moment. But the whole thing is, guys, is we just got to stop being ugly. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. And the whole thing is, guys, if we do stop being ugly to each other and start actually waking up, then we might actually have something that we might even be able to call a wonderful world. The only problem is that will never change. That will never be something that I reckon would ever really accomplish because of just the way people are. And really, in some ways, right, you kind of forget just how some things actually can be, you know. There's so many different, when it comes to it, right, there are so many different ugly parts to this conversation that I'm talking to you about now. There is so many different things, like discrimination, there's race, there's creed, there's religion, shit, you know. Just because if you're pagan, you're a devil worshipper. If you're Norse pagan and you're white supremacist type shit, you know, it's funny in some way it is, because if you're Christian or if you're Catholic or you're Protestant, or you're Hebrew or Muslim or something like that, there's always going to be some form of prejudice or some form of just bullshit with it when it actually comes to it, isn't there, really? When you really think about it, right, some of the most worst things that actually have ever happened on this planet since the humans have even been around and actually, you know, developed their things, blah, 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 the religions came in. It just seems to be one of those things where it always comes up to that sense that it always tends to go to the point where that they have to fight over something. They have to fight over this. They have to fight over that. They have to kill each other for this and kill each other for that. It doesn't make any fucking difference about who you are and what you believe in. See, my thing has always been that unless you're a good person, you got a good character, you got a good heart, to me, in some cases, that can be all that matters. If you go by your morals, if you go by the old ways of, not necessarily the old ways of doing certain things, but just the old values, like the chivalry, the loyalty, the respect, and that's one thing that is lacking these days is the respect for each other. And the thing is that what I said there before, what John Coffey said, is so fucking true. It's so true. The world is too ugly because it's full of greed. It's full of shit that people just don't tend to realise before it's too fucking late. They don't tend to realise that they are living in a planet full of shit. And not like I was saying there before about the ants, right? Not one person, like just one single person can change the world. There's just no way. Bloody gawns again. But it doesn't matter in some ways. Like this is probably one positive thing I probably can say to you. But I'll probably start off with the other ones first. Like this whole bullshit about the feminist movements and like all that type of crap. Like I do agree within the women's rights. I do agree with that. But then there's also, the equality type bullshit. But the whole thing is when it comes to that, is that, yeah, okay, we can give you your equality, but as long as you go with what you want. And what I mean is by that, if you want equality, you go work with the bloody men. You go down the sewers. You go to the building sites. You do this and you do that. You want equality? There's your equality. But the whole thing is, if you want it and it comes to you, you gotta understand that it is what it is. Yeah. But that's a completely different story, that shit. The bottom line is, guys, is I'm just a bloke who sees things and hears things and observes things. And when it comes to it, it's just one of those things that happens, and it's one of those things that in some cases can turn to a good thing, but the whole thing is it's just going to take a long time to do it. It's going to take a long time for people to really understand that what we're doing now is not necessarily going to be the best thing in the long run. We've had too many years, too many centuries, too many fucking different empires come and go and that. And you know what the funny thing is? We have not changed. If anything, we've gotten worse. And the whole thing is, like I was saying to you there before, if we can't come together and just talk things out and, just having a discussion about what should be done and what shouldn't be done, might be an option, but then again, it might not be either. Because, like I said before, this world has got too much greed, it's got too much bloody anger, too much pain, too much fucking jealousy, and just like who's better than who? I'm going to be better than you. Blah fucking blah. Bloody yawns, I tell you, mate. It's fucking unreal. But yeah. But anyway, I think that's just the way it is, mate. And the whole thing is that we're just going to have to try and change things, and just do that. Try and change something, and basically, yeah. You know, we just got to try and change who we are as a people, and just who we are as a race type thing. And basically just try and just be nice people. You know, try and be nice people at least. And really, if we can accomplish that, then there actually might be something that's worth fighting for. There might actually be something that we can actually, you know, get on top of and actually try and work together. Actually work together instead of apart. And basically just try and bloody work it all out. Somehow it's interesting that we might actually do that. But it is what it is, mate. You know, and it is, yeah, it is what it is, you know. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to catch you later. This is the end of the game, or the end of the episode. This tune that is playing right now is actually by applehillstudios, and I got this from Pod 5. It's an absolute crack of a website. Make sure you go and check it out. It's great for music, videos, and everything. So good on you. Anyway, catch you later on, guys. See you next one. Bye.